Okay, so we're going to use two inequalities to describe the interval. So these are both and inequalities because the 2 points are being connected. So if you look at this first one right here, there's a closed circle at -6, and then it goes to the right. That is the same as x is greater than or equal to -6. Then right here, you have an open circle at 3, and it points to the left. That's the same as x is less than 3. And later we will learn how to combine those into a single inequality. But since it said use two inequalities, I can just quit there. All right, go ahead and tell me, what does it describe? What would the correct inequality be for right here when it has an open circle at -5 and points to the right? All right, so it would be x is greater than -5, and what would it be when it has a closed circle at 4 and points to the left? All right, it would be x is less than or equal to 4. Let's go ahead and look at exploration 2. So same thing, use two inequalities to describe the interval. All of these are or inequalities because they have two circles and then they point in the opposite directions. So right here you see there's a closed circle at -6 and then it points to the left. That would be x is less than or equal to -6. Then use the word or. This one has an open circle at 3 and points to the right, so that's x is greater than 3. What would this one describe where it has an open circle at -5 and points to the left? What inequality would you write for that one? All right, so you would write x is less than -5, or what inequality would you write when it has a closed circle at 4 and then points to the right? Okay, you would write x is greater than or equal to 4, and you make sure to put the word or in between them. So those were just our explorations. Let's actually formalize it into examples. So this says write each sentence as an inequality, and you're going to graph each inequality. So a number x, that tells you your variable is x, is greater than -8. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. X is greater than -8. And less than or equal to 4. So x is less than or equal to 4. So that's where you start. Now you want to write them as one large inequality called a compound inequality, and you put the numbers in number line order. What I mean by that is -8 is farther to the left of the number line than 4, and you put your variable in the middle. So now how you figure out your symbols. If you look at the part I just highlighted, that symbol is, first of all, there's no underline, and the open side, it is open towards the x. So if I draw that symbol, it's open towards the x, and there is no underline. Now let's look at the other part right here. This symbol is open towards the 4, and there's an underline. So if I draw it like this, it's still open to the 4, and there's an underline. So you don't have to actually highlight, I'm just trying to demonstrate for you. This would be our answer in terms of writing the inequality. Now what it would look like on a number line. I'm going to go ahead and go by 4s here. All right, so it would go from -8, and it's an open circle because if you see where I highlighted in blue, that's a less than symbol, so there's no underline. And at 4, it's a closed circle because it was less than or equal to. And when it's and, they should connect. All right, on to example 1b. So a number y, there's your variable, is at most 0. So y is at most 0. That means it can be 0 or smaller. So that's less than or equal to. Or, right here it says or, at least 2. So at least 2 means it's 2 or bigger. So that's greater than or equal to. So now, we cannot combine ors together like we can ands. We just write the word or in between them, and that's that. Then to graph it, it's pretty easy. On our number line, y is less than or equal to 0, is a closed circle at 0 pointing to the left, and y is greater than or equal to 2 is a closed circle at 2 and pointing to the right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and have you select what it would be for example 1c. All right, so d is more than 0, that's greater than 0, and D is less than 10. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and have you select which one is the and equality combined. All right, so I would have 0, D, and 10, and this symbol between the D and the 0 is open towards D, and this symbol between the D and the 10 is open towards 10. So I'd write it like this, and then my number line, because it's an and, it will be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, go by 2's here, and it will be open circle at 0 because of the symbol not having the underline, open circle at 10, same reason, and ands connect like this.